Hi guys, welcome to my online lecture. This video is to cover how to deal with hanging pawns or pieces. According to the um, topic here, dealing with hanging pawns, pieces and pawns is very important in a certain level of chess game. After you've known how to move the pieces, you will need to learn piece coordination in such a way that your pieces should move as a team, as a body. So you won't hang your pieces because those hanging pieces or pawns can become easy targets for your opponents to capture. Hanging pieces are pieces or pawns that are not defended. So I'm going to clear out this board right now and give an example of hanging pieces. They are also inadequately defended piece. So we should have two images in our mind. The first one is not defended. A piece that is not defended looks like this. I'm going to take this black knight. I'll place the knight here on this light square on e6. You should be able to see the knight on e6. So the knight just standing there on its own without no support or link to its own men in its army is known as not defended. It's a piece that is not defended at all, no connection with any piece on the board. So it's hanging. It's an undefended piece. In this case here, the knight can be a target if I have a rook on the board. So since the rook moves along the rank and file, so I need to place the rook where it needs to see the knight so that the rook can capture the knight in the next move. So in this form, I need to put the rook here. So in the next move, I can capture the knight. So this action is called attack. Therefore, giving birth to another term known as defense or defend. So I'm going to use this word attack and defend more when we are talking about hanging pieces or pawns. In this case, the rook is attacking the knight. Notice the rook is on e2. Along the e file, the knight is also on e6. So if we talk about inadequately defended piece, it means the piece has a defender, but the defense is not enough. Take a look at this example. Let me add a layer to it. In this case, I have a pawn standing here on f7. If I remove the rook, we can simply say the knight is defended by the pawn on f7. So this is not a hanging knight, but the pawn is a hanging pawn because no defender. The knight is defended by the pawn. So if I have a rook here, a black rook, we can now say the rook is defending the pawn and the pawn is defending the knight. So let me put a rook here on e1. Now I can say the rook is attacking a defended knight. In this regard, I can introduce another attacker to the knight by placing the bishop somewhere here so that I can explain what it means to have insufficient or inadequate material to defend. In this position, how many defender do we have on that knight? In this case, we have just one defender, and that defender is a pawn. From the attacking side, which is white pieces, how many attackers do we have? The bishop attacks the knight, the rook attacks the knight. So therefore, we have two attackers against one defender. So this scenario is known as inadequately defended piece, which is that. So let's move forward. How to identify hanging pieces or pawns? The first one is a piece is hanging if it has no defender at all. In this case, I'm removing the bishop and I'll remove the pawn, black pawn. So I can simply say that the knight is under the attack of the rook. The knight has no defender. So if it is white to play at the moment, white can just go ahead to capture the knight this way. And this is a plus for white. So we can say this is a hanging piece that is standing alone. The knight is standing alone. So if standing alone is a hanging piece, even the rook at the moment now is a hanging piece too because it's standing alone, no supporter, no defender. A piece is hanging if it has a weak defender. A pinned defender is weak. I'll give you an example. I have, let's say, a black rook standing somewhere here. Then we have a bishop. Now a king, a black king, then a white king. In this example, I just want to explain what it means to have a pinned defender as a defender, which is weak. Let's identify the defender. The knight currently, let me make it clear to you, white to play so you can have a sense of direction. White to play, for example, what do? The knight is connected to the rook. So we can say the knight defends the rook. However, we must acknowledge that the knight at the moment is the piece blocking the rook from attacking the king directly. So in this position here, this knight is pinned to the king. So this knight can't be moved. It's immobile at the moment, rendering the knight inactive. So if it is white to play, you can apply some ideas in this position to capture material. By just going bishop takes rook straight, we can gain a material with this knowledge because an upcoming chess player who is just getting his feet into chess will be scared to capture because believing that the knight will capture back. Yeah, in some cases, we might have another piece there, but I'm giving an example such that you need to know that capturing that rook is correct, is right. We can have other scenarios like where it can be a bishop somewhere here. Then we have this. This pins the knight to the king. Then there's a rook here. In this regard, just look at it very well. What do? You're not scared of any activity here because this bishop at the moment controls along the light squares. So pins the knight to the king. Therefore, it is possible for white to play and white captures the bishop because this knight now is pinned to the king and is now a weak defender. So the knight becomes a weak defender to the bishop. Another example of a weak defender is an overloaded defender. When a defender is overloaded, then the defender becomes weak. I can give an example for that. That can happen with the queen. In this case, There can be a black knight standing here, then a queen, a black queen, a rook already attacking the knight, then the bishop standing somewhere here. We have a white rook joining in the attack from here. We have a white rook. Then I need to place a king on this board. The king should be somewhere. Let's put the king here, for instance. It is obvious that, okay, let me cover this king so we can have a clear example. One pawn. Pardon me, I'm trying to give you an example of overloaded piece. Look at this. The queen here. Okay, let me have more materials. I have this material. Well, let it just be somewhere here. Yeah. The queen defends the um defends the knight at the moment, and also defends the rook at the moment. Let's look at what to do. Obviously, if you look through this light square diagonal, you notice that the bishop have an influence over the diagonal to the square h7. So I can just push the rook somewhere here so as to push away or pursue the queen from defending one of the piece. If the queen is defending the rook, the queen is defending the knight. In this example, the queen has to leave. The queen has more material, more point value. It's there on the board of 9. So we'll get to that. The queen has to leave. So once the queen leaves, for example, the queen goes to somewhere safe. Let me pick a square, let's say here. For instance, threatening some kind of check, and maybe take the bishop. It is possible to end up playing this rook takes. What just happened? We noticed that the queen was doing a lot of job holding the materials together, and we took advantage of that. So the queen was the defender of the knight. However, we had to chase the defender away. It's overloaded, obviously. There's no support. If we would kick the queen away, the knight would just be left hanging. So we had to kick the queen away with rook to h7, queen moves, then we pick up this. It's also important. You can just simply keep it this way, maybe, rook takes. It's just an idea, but a valid idea that you can add to your game to make it very brilliant. A piece is hanging if it has one defender and it is attacked by 2 attackers. So this is straightforward, just like what we did earlier. We had the knight on the board. The knight somewhere here. Then now a pawn. Remove this, remove this away. A bishop was attacking, and there was the rook. The bishop, attacker 1, attacking the knight along the diagonal. The rook, attacker 2, attacking the knight along the file. So 2 against 1 man holding, which is the pawn. So in this case, bishop goes first, take the knight, pawn takes. In this variation, rook takes. White is the last man standing after gaining an extra pawn. Bishop and knight possess the same value point, 3. So in this understanding, we can simply notice that once a piece is attacked twice and has one defender, that piece is hanging. You need to approach it with a different defense mechanism. There are different defense approach. We'll get to learn about that here when we get to this position. So That is that. A piece is hanging if it is defended by a king. I'll give you an example. This happened in one of my games I played. There was a black knight here. I had a white pawn standing somewhere here. White pawn. I had a rook somewhere here. I had my second rook in this position. So there was a black pawn here and there was a king. Yeah, there was a black king and my king was somewhere castled, hidden here. This is just a little fragment from the game I played. See, this king defends the knight at the moment and the pawn. How do I take the knight now? I need to find something. This position here I can simply use it to explain two ideas. The first idea is this. You see, it is conditional in some cases where you will spot rook check. This rook is defended by the pawn. So the king goes away. The king can't stay on the 7th rank anymore. So the king has to go up. Then rook takes ninth. This is clear. In that case, in this position, the king is a weak defender. Yeah, a piece is hanging if it can be captured for free after a check on the king. It just happened now. I'm going to replay that and I will show you another form of it too. The king was somewhere here, so I made a check. King has to move, then the knight becomes a hanging piece or capture with the rook if it's white to play. In some cases, the king stays somewhere here at the start of the board, then the white queen here, king stays here, and the black knight stays somewhere here. Now, what connects the king and the knight? The knight is hanging at the moment, not defended, standing alone. What connects the knight, the king, and the queen? There are several squares. However, one stands out, which is a4. So, queen a4 check to the king. The king has to move to a safe square. Then I can just connect my dots to pick up the knight. This explains where a piece is hanging if it can be captured for free after a check on the king. In this scenario, a piece is hanging if its defender can be attacked or captured. Take a look at this example here. We have this. I'll go back to this position again to make it clear. The rook stays there. We have a bishop, and now this time around, there is a rook. It's possible. I'm going to push for more ideas when I'm explaining other parts. For now, if the defender of your piece is under attack or can be captured, then that piece is said to be a hanging piece. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is it. Rook can take knight, king takes, bishop takes the rook. This is an example of where I captured the defender of the rook. So, what if it's not a rook now? What if the piece there is, let's say, a knight? You take the knight, king takes, then it can happen that bishop takes. However, there's a check. It's a different case. I need something forcing, so you can learn from that. In this scenario where we have this bishop and this, so you take the defender out, then you pick. Most cases is probably like can be a queen standing there. Let's say king is hiding here, then a black queen, more valued piece, you know. Then let's put the king here. Let's look at the odds. I can simply go for this. That's straightforward. This one has many variations, a lot. In this case, you see, I can just simply go for this. The knight takes, expose the queen. Fine, that's another lesson for another day. I have this. You can simply go for this. Queen takes with check on that issue. So the ideas are very valid. I know the point I'm trying to make is clear. So in as much as you understand this one, I'm happy. So if I'm to bring in a piece is hanging, if the defender of the piece is also hanging, some cases where it's a knight that defends a knight. I have this pattern in my head. Knight defends a knight. I have a bishop. Then okay, knight defends a knight. Then I have take this here. Let this be here this time around. See this case. I have a pawn here. Knight and rook. Oh. So, knight. Oh, okay. Oh, you have a position now to look at. It can this position comprise of these two ideas, 6 and 7. A piece is hanging if the defender is of the piece is also hanging. This is a ninth, this is a ninth. So a simple move like this, pawn push, can cause trouble in this position if it's white to play. If it is white to play, I just made up the positions to explain the idea. You will find them in real games. You will definitely see these ideas in real game, and it will help you move to the next rating. So for better explanation of what the idea I have on ground, push this pawn to c4. What does it do? The pawn purpose there is to attack the defender of this knight. Take for example, if I'm to capture right away with the bishop, the knight will take back. So they are both connected. So if I kick one defender away, what to do? In this case, there can be a check first, which is very possible. Check comes up, then we have to avoid some squares like here. Okay, even if we are going to stay here, the bishop can take a 9 check. So let's go up this time around, and this problem is still yet unsolved. So for us to say um, black will solve the problem is by releasing one of the two pieces, maybe to take this particular piece to a safe square, to somewhere here. Let's just go somewhere. So now he has undefended this. Defender of the piece left to safety, leaving one piece hanging. It happens most time with bishops. Bishop's trap, just keep the bishop locked, and that's all. So we've studied this. How to capture a hanging piece. You can either capture a hanging piece by direct capture like this one, see it, direct, or by using that tactical idea, removing the defender of it. So is it two ways? The direct capture when it arises, which is number one, or the second one using the tactical idea, which is kicking the defender away, defender moves away, then you take by tactics. So one way or the other, this is where you start from as a beginner. Direct attack, direct capture of hanging pieces. Your opponent's becoming better, may defend. So you need tactics to grow. So you have to work on your tactics to get better in this segment, because direct attack these days won't get you far, would only help you get to a certain rating. So you have to know tactical ideas to become tricky, cunning, and greedy and smart. In fact, to become the tactician you need to become. What to do if your own piece is hanging? One, run away from the attacker. In some cases, you just need to run away. In this case, where we have the king and kings, then this is the black rook. This time around, I'm going to use the white bishop. Black to play, for instance, black attacks the bishop. In this scenario, you can defend with your king, but you can run away. Let's run to somewhere here. So you vacated that attacked square. That square that's in danger, you vacate it and you go to a safer square. This to explain this number one. Number two, capture the enemy piece attacking. So in this case, if we are opportune to have a pawn here and the rook is attacking and it's white to play this time around, Rook intention is to pick you, so you can pick the rook first to eliminate the threat. Yes. So there are some situations where most players are not grinded with the knowledge and the pattern of knight. So a knight could be somewhere here, and basically just to capture a piece or direct attack a piece. An opponent, let's put it here, an opponent might just play this in a hurry. So playing this attacks the bishop. Because I taught you how to attend to your own hanging piece, what to do if your own piece is hanging. You now say, okay, I only taught you run away, and you quickly do run away. You missed a chance to take the rook. So you have to scan the position and look for the best at the moment. If it's to eliminate it, you eliminate by doing this, and that solves it if white to play. In this case, we are good to go. So block with a piece. That happens most of the times. Okay, this, let's put it this way this time around. That happens most of the times with the king. I have a king. There is a bishop here. A check comes up to the king attacking to pick my to attack. I can just block. This is an example of a blocking. This happens. It can happen just to put your pieces together in this kind of position. There are some cases where your major forces like the queen and the rook are out of number of squares. You can just block, just cover with your piece. I'll show you example as you proceed in this my page. You will learn a lot. So then protect with another piece. It's possible to protect another piece. Just for example, I have this here and this comes up. The knight wants to capture the bishop. So as white to play, you can try this knowledge. If black doesn't know my four victim, defend with the knight, connect it. You see, the connection is for real. In this case, the rook have this square. Yes, that's a little bit of problem. So this is not the best at the moment. So it was here actually. We cannot use the knight now because of this problem. Rook to e5. So we can use the king support in defending at this spot. In this part now, we can say the king is a strong defender. Not like that one where it's conditional. It's conditional. So the king defends, rook takes, you know, bishop, rook takes bishop, king takes. So if there's a check here, in this, you can just block with the knight. Keep your pieces together and create a fortress. Then you move up. So what to do, we've covered here some formulas for capturing hanging pieces. Checkmate is the ultimate goal. However, once you cannot checkmate, you cannot achieve checkmate in your variation. Look for material advantage. A queen is worth 9 points, a rook is worth 5 points, bishop worth 3 points, knight worth 3 points, and pawn 1. This formula is conditional also. However, to kickstart your journey of the values of the pieces and what to use when capturing, you need to just know this basic. In this case, if queen takes a pawn, free pawn, F is for free, D is for defended, you make a profit. Queen takes a free pawn, makes a profit. Queen takes a defended pawn, you make a profit. If queen takes queen, is equality. Queen takes free rook, is a profit. Queen takes defended rook, is a loss. Rook takes rook, equality. Bishop takes bishop, equality. Knight takes knight, equality. Pawn takes pawn, equality. Then queen takes free bishop, profit. Queen takes defended bishop, loss. Queen takes free knight, profit. Queen takes defended knight, loss. Queen takes free queen is a profit. Queen takes defended queen. I think this is equal to, this part is equal because queen takes defended queen is equal. It's not a loss. It's equal. The queen is defended, so 9 for 9, equality. Now, for rook takes free queen, you are making profit. Rook takes free rook, profit. Rook takes free bishop, profit. Rook takes free knight, profit. Rook takes free pawn, profit. Here, rook takes defended queen is profit because you're using a 5 to take a 9. You're making more. Rook takes defended rook is equal. So rook to rook is equal just here. Then rook takes defended bishop is a loss. Using 5 to take 3 is a loss. Rook takes knight, loss. Rook takes pawn, defended, loss. So you can generate more here on your own and screenshot and drop in the comment section. I think you have enjoyed today's class. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments, drop in the comment section. See you in the next video.